I tap into the email podcast every week.
Yo, shout out to the email podcast. I'm tuned in every week for that new game you be giving us, yeah?
Oh, you ain't heard the new email podcast yet? Man, you tripping. Tap in.
Man, you sleeping if you ain't heard about that new email podcast. We need to wake y'all up real quick.
Yo, it's your boy Do Two Times. Come back with another fire-ass episode of the email podcast. And like every show, I got my favorite trustee.
I am the one, D.O. to the C. What it do?
What that shit do, Doc? You good?
Yes, sir. I'm just happy we back.
We back.
Another show.
For
the people.
And you know what's crazy? This is back-to-back that we got a female guest.
Ooh.
Well, not back-to-back, but
yeah,
it's back-to-back.
Yeah.
I'll say it's back-to-back.
Yeah.
Twice in a month.
First, we wasn't having them, but now I'm happy we do.
She is a very heavy poet. She is a very black activist. Mm-hmm. She is a woman empowerment movement mover. What else can I say about you?
Well, I work with children with special needs. That's my passion, specifically autism. So I am studying now for my BCBA, which is one of the highest levels of working in the ABA field.
Strong black woman. Smart black woman.
A little smart.
But let's rewind. Tell the people what your name is.
It is Trisha Chavez. So it's my first name without the LA in the beginning, and Chavez is my middle name.
So what they call you? What's your nickname?
My nickname is Lily.
Lily.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
Give it up for Lily.
I'm calling her Lily the whole show now.
And that's been since I was a childhood. Like in my childhood, I created that name for myself. And
you created the name.
Yeah, so it's from a movie called Bad Girls.
How old was you when you just said, I'm going to be Lily?
I was in maybe the 4th grade. And
so you was watching movies called The Bad Girls in the 4th grade?
Well, it was not what The Bad Girls is now. It was like a Western. So, it was a Western, and I could be wrong on the years, but I was really little. And Drew Barrymore, her name was Lily in the movie, and she was just bad.
You liked her.
She had no fear, and stuff happened to her. I probably shouldn't have been watching the movie, but stuff happened to her in the movie, and she was still had that strength. And I was like, oh yeah, I want to be her. So I told my mom, don't call me Latricia anymore.
Oh, just told her.
Oh, damn.
My name is Lily. I went into the schools, and I was like, don't call me Lily anymore. Don't call me Latricia. My name is Lily. I asked them to put my name like I wanted it on a roster, so if it was a sub, they need to call me Lily. And I just kept that up until high school. And when I graduated, they said Latricia Nolan. Everybody was like, her name not Lily? What? So
I am speechless.
Baffled.
And they just went along with this?
Seriously, my fiance didn't know my name was that until a few years ago when, maybe 5
I've been
years ago.
Hold on.
Lily for how long?
Yeah.
Since middle school.
Yeah, so he didn't know.
I hope he knew that your name was your real name.
We was sitting in the car and
before he proposed.
Well, yeah, for sure.
Oh, okay.
But when I was talking on the phone, I was talking to a creditor, and I was like, he was like, can you explain your name on the card? And I was like, yeah, Latricia. He was like, what's Latricia? And I was like, it's me. You're like, you lying to creditors? Like, no, that's my real name.
Faking me out.
So he was like, he's never calling me.
Well, you went to Linwood Middle?
I went to Hostler, but we had one track team. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I went to Linwood Middle. You said middle school.
Well, what year did you graduate? Well,
we all the same.
He's same year as me. So you already 2 years.
Yeah,
ahead
I'm
of
always
us.
High school.
Me, him,
so
Heather.
Did you go to Linwood High?
Yeah.
Yeah. He only went for two semester. One semester. He got kicked out.
I went for longer this semester, you asshole.
He was there for 5 weeks.
Well, I would have seen you.
Nah, you wouldn't have seen me.
He was bad.
That's another episode.
Oh, snap.
That's another episode.
I was a geek, though.
Yeah,
I was like a popular geek.
I said you wouldn't.
Oh, yeah, you wouldn't with me. But I see this sweater that you got. Light skin, dark skin.
Black.
It's crossed out and just black. Explain that.
Well, this all came about when I had my daughter, and so she's way lighter than I am. Her dad's really light, and so she took on more of his genes. So I was just having an issue with people why isn't your daughter darker? Or I was out and they were like, are you the nanny? Just random stuff. Somebody actually asked me if I was the nanny, and I was so irritated. And she was like, 'cause she's dark. I mean, she's light and you're dark.
What?
And I'm like, it be our own people. What?
You see his baby?
Yeah.
Right. And
sometimes they say it to me too as well. They be like, that's not your, until they see his face, but they be like,
no, that's literally your twin.
He Asian. I was like, well, if you see my baby picture, I looked kind of Asian too.
Right,
As well.
like I was way lighter when I was a baby. So, and I'm just like, why are we still dealing with this in 2020? You know, and I'm still seeing team light skin, team dark skin. It's still,
you see those little battles on social media.
Yeah.
It's team dark skin or dark skins do this and light skins take
Yeah.
pictures like this. And,
the light skinned dudes, and
I feel
they
like,
in now and all that. Like it's cool to joke about.
Even though it seems funny games, some people take that to heart.
Yeah,
I've been that guy.
Yeah, we all have been that person.
We all
Because I
been
used
in
to, even the girl that I did the poem with, So Bree, in high school, I wouldn't have been friends with her because of her skin complexion. Like,
Oh, you was deep in it.
yeah, because I used to get bullied, growing up because I was dark skinned. I literally got jumped by a group of light skinned girls
Because you was dark.
because I was
Wow.
dark. They called me a monkey.
Was
They
this
called
in middle school?
This was elementary school.
Elementary,
So
okay.
Damn.
I internalized being dark as an issue very young. I remember
Yeah.
like trying to bleach myself and like looking in the mirror and just really upset that my siblings were light and I was dark. I was really upset with my mom. I was like, how did this happen?
Yeah.
A lot of kids experience that.
And that was the whole reason for this movement, because I don't want my daughter to have an issue with
same
her
experience.
skin complexion that light skinned girls experience, because our light skinned men experience, because they do too. They feel like they're considered not black enough, or certain situations that I didn't even know they went through.
What's that saying? The house nigga?
Yeah, the house nigga. And it's like, well, we have this conversation in our household all the time. Like, the house nigga was still a nigga, though. That person still got raped. They got raped first, because he could just hit the next room and get you.
Right there.
He had to walk out, he had to put his pants on, and then come outside. And if it was a cold day, he was like, well, I'm going to just get old girl that's in the next
right
room.
there.
You know what I mean? And the missus treated her wrong because
She knew she was getting hit.
So, and I don't like that term, the house nigga, because
I got a homeboy, and it's crazy that people that you explain it like that, because his Instagram is light skin for president.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
well, I mean, we're still stuck in that mentality, and it was a great tool to keep us, separated, because we still talking about
No,
it
like
now.
he really will not talk to like a dark skinned girl.
Right, and that's the
Like
mentality.
he will like look at you like you trash.
Yeah, and that's the mentality.
Like,
And
Even if she look good, he probably just
Like,
nope.
oh, she dark skinned.
She dark skinned. Can't do it.
We go to a club. Oh, there's all these dark skinned girls.
yeah, and that's a mentality that somebody put in him, because he wasn't. That's not an innate thing. That's not something you're born with. You're taught that.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't know anything was wrong with my skin complexion until I went to elementary school, and it was an issue.
True.
Like, I thought I looked good, I thought I was chill.
Yeah.
But I knew I looked different than a lot of my other siblings, but I didn't still think that it was not considered beautiful until I went to school and I had people talk about it.
Yeah.
And little girls still have an issue with it now. So I'm like, I can't continue it, and I can allow it to continue and I not do anything about it. So that's why I push it so heavy.
How many siblings you got?
It's 8 of us.
Ooh, she almost up there with me. She almost up there with me.
Yeah.
I have a lot, and I was considered the darkest until we met my older brother, which was like a few years ago. So he was like one of them.
Well, he was dark?
He darker than me. So I'm like, dude, you could have took this. Like, when I met him, I'm like, bro, I went through all of this. That could have been
Hey, what's crazy about this though? Like, cause me, like I was explaining, like I got a homeboy that super light skinned, he dark skinned people.
Yeah.
And I remember we was arguing one day about dark skin and light skin. I'm like, nigga, nigga.
That shouldn't even be an argument.
Yeah, women love dark skin, nigga. What the fuck are you talking about? Tall, dark, and handsome, nigga.
Right.
He like, no. Like, that's not true. Like,
Yeah.
like I have way more females that prefer light skinned niggas over dark skinned niggas. I'm like, damn, this is a thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, it still is. It still is. I still hear people say that they're going to have a baby with somebody from a different race, or somebody who's lighter, so their baby can come out, lighter with pretty hair. It's still an issue.
Well, I got a baby by a different race, not for that reason.
Right, but if it's not for that reason, that's who you just decided to be with, and that's different. But if you really sit there and you analyze, okay, I do not want my child to look like me or look like my grandmother or my great grandmother, you
Want him
have
to
an
look lighter.
internal illness. That,
You didn't do that?
What do you mean?
Cause you got a light skin baby.
Nah, I mean, I just love this man. Like,
you just love that nigga.
He's the lightest person I've ever been with. So
he has some work to do. You got to prove yourself.
nah, he's just. He's just. I don't know. I'm just in love with his whole.
You just in
being,
love with him.
so,
Yeah.
How long you been
And
married?
it wasn't a
No,
color.
we're not married
engaged.
yet. So we've been engaged for a year.
Okay.
We've been
Congrats.
rocking.
Congratulations.
the wedding, I don't know when because of COVID. So
True.
I'm having my wedding in COVID. I don't care.
Well, no,
Everybody coming to mask
we still
on.
gonna have it, but I don't know if people will come. It's gonna be a large gathering. So.
Don't come. It saves me money on the plate.
Anyway, I'm
Right.
T.
So yeah, we've been on and off for a while, but then we decided, okay, let's stop playing. This is what we want to do. 2017. So yeah.
I got a question. How did Lily get into all these different things that you do with the poetry and I see you giving out scholarships and the shirts and the colorism. It's like you're doing so many things. What started that? Like, how did you?
I mean, I feel like growing up, I've always, from a young age, we saw Roots at like 6, you know? So my mom put us up on game.
I never watched that. I'm sorry.
It's okay. We need you
gotta
and
take
your
your
whole
black card
entire...
away.
It's too long, bro.
Well, I mean, back in the day, it used to come on in like intervals. So we had, it was like shows that we got to watch. It was on Monday and Tuesday, and it was like a night thing that
I
we
was
all
always
came
in the
together.
streets then, because I
At
don't remember.
6, 7? Well, my mom was hella strict. So
Yeah,
was
I was always in the house.
We
so-
had a driveway, and it was like a mark, and it was like you didn't go past that part or past that part. So we knew we played. They're gonna mark.
Damn.
Like,
I was always with my older cousins and brothers, so I
Okay.
was always
He
out.
wasn't in the house.
Yeah.
Out the house.
Okay. Well, yeah.
Well, we was
I mean,
in the house.
I've heard that from a few people, but I think that my mom was just so into us loving who we were that she made it a priority for us to
watch that.
it. So I remember watching all that and like, dang, they really did that to us.
Yeah.
Like I remember going to school upset at white people, like wanting to fight a white person just because I seen it, but it was because one, I was too young to internalize it,
Yeah.
and two, she put us in a school where we were around different races, so it was just like I didn't have the full explanation on it. It wasn't until I got older and was like, oh, they're the same as us. They just been taught the wrong thing too.
Yeah.
So you can't get mad at someone for them being
It's
taught,
taught
the
that
wrong thing.
way.
Yeah,
Right.
like racism is taught.
Yeah, it's
You know,
taught.
it's taught when you see those pictures of the child with the KKK costume on. It's
can't
like, oh,
get
you
mad at
can't
them.
get mad at that child. You can't even get mad at who taught them that because somebody taught them that.
Yeah. So even like the
Ah.
nah,
Well, you
you
can be
can't.
upset with it. I
Yeah,
mean,
you can be
if
upset.
if it affects me physically,
Yeah.
you know what I mean. But if I could walk down the hallway and it could be a bunch of different people calling me a nigger, I'm at a point now where I'm so I'm so in love with who I am and I know where we come from.
And that's how I look at like the older generation, people in their 80s and 90s. I'm like, they was taught that, so like, how do you expect them to change after so many years of? They
But
have
it's
to do that
changing
on
now,
their
though.
own.
It's
Yeah.
definitely changing
It's
now with
changing
social
now.
media, and I think that we're other races are actually seeing what we go through. Before it was like, oh yeah, I heard that what happened to Tyrone. That's sad. But now they actually get to see
They get to
the
see
death. But it's all. But I'm still trying.
It's equal.
One, we were in high school. One,
feel like
let
it's equal.
that be, because my mentality from high school to my mentality now
Yeah.
is different.
It's way
It's
different.
completely different.
Completely
Like,
different.
I got Mexican homies. I'm like, that's my dog.
Yeah, for sure.
Like-
I have white people that come to my daughter.
Yeah.
That came to my daughter's birthday party that I love. I literally, one of my homegirls literally just texted me right now. Like,
Yeah.
I love you to death. Like, it's different. Like, my
Yeah.
mentality on race is different.
You know what I'm saying? That
But
as-
we do have to still be aware that racism, that people are still right now getting ready for whatever happens with this
Oh, yeah.
whole
Oh,
situation.
yeah.
Like, they really are teaching their kid to shoot niggers. Like, so we can't be blinded by that. But we can only do our part.
Yeah. And I feel like I seen that more once I went to school out of state. I seen that. I was like, yeah, it's really racist out here.
Well,
Yeah.
I went to school in Sacramento, and I lived in a city called Folsom. And I remember it was an incident where my mom came to visit me, and we was walking In-N-Out Burger, and a little baby was running around. And then when my mom opened the door, it's like she walking into the burger place, and the little girl, like, she would have to be like 2 years old, and her mom was, oh my God, like, come here. My mom was like, damn, they don't see black people out here. I'm like,
Some of them don't. Like when I went to school,
it's fucked up. Like,
some of them
Yeah, for
teammates,
sure.
they stay in little small counties and cities where it's like 3,000 people, 10,000, and they was like, when I came to this school, I never saw a black person ever in my
Yeah.
life.
And I didn't really start.
And that opened my mind up
Yeah.
as well. Like, dang,
Travel
never
definitely
really-
helps you
Yeah.
see.
well, I was angry. Like, that's when I was did a show about
He's
that
going-
shit.
yeah.
I was still like angry
You was
about.
going through
I
your
was going through
stuff.
my own shit. So it was easy for me to take my frustration out on somebody who was, especially if they were talking about my race.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Like,
for sure.
oh, I'm a dark what? I'm a dark skinned nigga. What?
Yeah. And a lot of times they want that because they know that if I say something to you and you react physically, then I can easily call the cops and you're just an angry black man, you know? But it's like, oh, well, we don't know that you sat there and poked us first before, you know, we attacked type thing. And so, I mean, honestly, I thought, especially watching Roots and all that, I thought, okay, all white people racist. And, you know, they hanging us and all that stuff. So
I be kind of looking at that now. Like,
I mean, now, I like I said, I've been exposed to different type of people before. Like, I've had literally one of my friends, Betsy, who's just amazing. I used to work for her. And she, especially throughout this whole situation, the George Floyd, everything, she literally texts every day. Like, she's literally a person I can like hug and love, and her children, like they're gonna be a part of our lives forever type thing. And if you would have told me this in middle school and high school, if you would have told me in high school that I was going to be this close with a person that was Caucasian, I would have been like, you're lying. I would never. Like, I was like, people think I'm pro-black now, like I'm just like this black activist now, but in high school, like senior year, when I started learning about us and how dope we were, I would never even probably shook a white person.
Can I ask a question though?
Go for sure.
I'm gonna go back to the high school incident. Were you mad that happened?
I was mad because I saw the background.
I was mad.
Why was you? Okay, we gonna.
Okay, I saw the background work of what took place on how they were able to achieve that, right? Because I was into a lot of like clubs and all kind of things, so I saw what it took and how much the parents had fundraised to give them that, right? Because they had a whole like, you know, they had the
committee party.
Yeah, they had in the year before that. Remember, they had like the inflatables and the whole situation.
Oh, the night rally stuff, right?
No, that was the luau's.
Yeah,
the luau's
popping. The luau's was popping too. But what I'm saying is nobody was mad at the luau's because their parents put all that money and effort into that because they cared about their culture.
Yeah.
But because black people we still don't know our culture, and we're more than just hip hop and lace fronts.
Yeah.
We didn't know that. We just knew. We don't have a culture.
We could have had parents that donated and stuff like that,
right,
and we could have had some stuff.
But we didn't. Just like when I think they were doing like a black college tour, right?
Yeah,
and
they
so
did that.
many parents got involved in that because it was like, cool, we know
I went
that.
to one.
So, but people got involved. People fundraised for that. But if we would have had that same energy that they've had for, you know, even with the girls that was doing the belly dancing and just the different things, like their parents got involved and those teachers of those races got involved. So I wasn't mad that the flag was burned because a part of me was like, damn, like why our flag couldn't have been that big? Like our flag was so little. But it was
So
also
little.
what was in what we
Where
funded.
was our flag at?
Well, we had
I don't know.
We had one in that space.
No, it wasn't that big.
It was
It probably wasn't that big to even
That
notice.
shit was hanging.
Their stuff was all 3 floors.
Yeah.
Right? Remember? Ours was just all the way at the top floor, and it kind of just hung. It probably was about
Shit blew like this.
it was like this big, right?
Yeah, that's not.
But that's what that was.
Then it big. That's not big.
That wasn't that big.
Yeah.
I mean, and like you said, you didn't even remember where it was.
That's what.
So
I didn't.
I wasn't-
You said it.
well, I was okay when I knew that it was
I've
a
been there all
person
4
that was
years.
special needs that did it, because I was like, maybe they didn't understand.
Oh,
Well, 'cause
so
they said-
now I was wrong.
No, because I was just like, okay, cool, because then the tension kind of settled because people were like, oh, this person didn't know any better.
You know that
And
didn't,
he was saying that he did it.
that didn't come out for years.
He didn't. He said that. He said he was doing it because I think everybody was like, he did it. He did it. So I think he felt like, you know, since he was always being made fun of, then that gave him like what
He
we call
cool.
clout now.
He cool.
You know, so it was just like, oh, he did that. And
did
then
that,
people was
yeah.
like, how did he do it with his
He
little
ain't get in
arms, you know?
trouble.
It was like, you know, how did he reach up there? Like everybody was like coming up with all kind of things, but it was like we really thought it was him.
Yeah.
And so I'm not angry now because now I understand the backstory. Because it's like if I was in your position and felt the way I felt, I never had any type of racism happen to me from a Mexican person. But one time in 6th grade, when I happened to be the only black person in class at Hostler, I walked into class and there was no one that looked like me.
Yeah.
And I was just thinking like,
I think more the dudes felt it more than the
so
women.
the girls,
right,
I didn't feel it so much with the girls. I always felt it with the girls. I didn't feel it with the boys. The boys was always trying to talk to me or like they said, whatever.
Another reason I felt it so much is, like I said, I had a Mexican girlfirend back then.
Yeah.
So
then you felt it even more.
They
And
really
then-
hated like
Yeah, and that was all. I mean, now seeing a biracial couple, to me, back in the day, like I said, I had a different mindset. If I seen a black person with a white person or with a different race, I was immediately irritated. Like, you couldn't have found beauty in your own.
Yeah.
You know, so that was a big thing for me.
And that was a lot of women back then.
Yeah, but now
still
when I see
till
it,
today.
for me, it's different because I've seen couples that are biracial so in love.
Yeah.
Like, I've seen like that. You know that like if my dude walked in here right now, y'all be like, oh yeah, she in love.
I'm glad you here and saying this because I was just damn near crucified by the last female guest we had.
Yeah.
She was like, oh,
you
got a Mexican and you think it's easier. You left your black people for that. I'm like, yo.
Well, not necessarily
I
because
love who I
we don't
love,
know how
dog.
crazy a Mexican girl is. She could be just as crazy as us or worse.
Ain't no J crazy.
And she could be going
just
off on you in
as same.
Is she
I don't know.
crazy?
First of all, I think
All women are
All
crazy.
women.
Like, if you ask my dude,
Nah, I
I'm
think
crazy.
it don't
mine-
matter what race.
Especially if you're in love with the person.
Yeah.
Like, for me, I've never been this deep. And I've been married before.
No, shit,
But
but mine
I've
love
never
hard.
been this in love with him. Like, it's probably not
It's
even.
beyond what you would even thought.
Mine love hard.
Yeah, and so and it's not because she's Mexican that she loves her. It's just she found something in you and she loves you.
Yeah.
And that's it. And that's
And I
perfectly fine.
appreciate
And
that.
if she loves you like that, I could care less if she had one eye and two toes. Like, if that's who you rock with, I'm pretty sure she's pretty, right?
I appreciate you, baby.
Well, even if she's not, whatever. Like, whatever. I'm pretty sure she's beautiful. But what I'm saying is, we have to, especially black women, we have this insecurity that, you know, he's with her, so we find the ugliness in us, you know? And it's just like...
I think we know where it comes from. It's because, like, when a lot of people, like, our descent, black people, men or whatever, when they make money, what they go do?
Another race.
They go to another race. And that's when I think this all happened, because you see a lot of dudes, you see the O.J. Simpsons and the
mainly
athletes
Right.
and the entertainers, they going to the other race, and you're like, wait, you was just when you was 19, 20 with this race, and now once you got that money, you went to the other race. What changed?
I gotta... well, from looking at it as like a behavioral standpoint, right? Because everything is a behavior and a consequence, right?
But everybody ain't entertainers.
But look, no, not just that. So if I live in the hood and I'm playing basketball, I'm a dude, and everybody around me is black, right? Because that's where I live at. All right, cool. But if I start making some money and I get exposed to a different type of woman, or we at these parties that these dads then sent their daughters to come to these parties and show, or if they already got a little bit of money on them, then they know, like, she's not that much of a liability, and she's probably going to be, you know, more lenient to signing that prenup. You know, black women gonna be like, like, well,
nah.
you know, sometimes.
Ooh, you.
Well, people might get mad at me, but whatever, I don't care. But for me, I think that prenup should happen. Like, I think that, you know, because you just never know what happens after a relationship might end, and the energy that might happen after.
Would you sign a prenup?
I sure would, and my dude's gonna sign one too.
Damn.
And so whatever but
I ain't signing no prenup.
well, we're building together. So we're building a lot together. So that would be different if we were not. If I'm like, all right, go do your thing and I'm going to do mine. But we literally sit and have business meetings and talk about, like you said, the scholarship. Your Sunset Foundation is his nonprofit. And so he comes to me and we talk about what it needs.
Yeah.
You know, or he'll be like, all right, you know this person, or because I know a lot of people in the industry. All right, well, ask them, you know, to wear my shirt or do whatever, or you know, or if they agree with what we're doing. You know, right now we're just helping people that are in the inner city. Yeah. But it's not that we're putting a race on it, because we're not. It's white people, it's black people, it's Asians, all in the inner city that's struggling.
Yes.
So this particular scholarship is for people in the inner city that are struggling.
What is it called again?
It's called Dior Sunset Foundation.
Dior
It's a nonprofit.
So do you target like a certain age group?
No. So before COVID, we were taking children that were in the hood. We were taking them out of the hood to go boxing. And we were gonna start doing. They just bought land, and so we'll be doing a camp. So what we want to do is, you know, because some children have never been out the hood, and it's because their parents are struggling. They don't even a mindset
Especially
to
now.
a mindset to even travel is something they're not thinking. They trying to figure out if they can get this
next meal.
their next meal. So the fact that we're offering free activities. And we just did like a kind of like a virtual backpack drive where we just kind of like gave out backpacks and school essentials. Yeah. So we're trying to figure out how to make it work through COVID. But at the end of the day, we have students that went into school and they're struggling. You know, they were struggling before and they're struggling even more now because some parents that EDD, it was popping for a little bit, but it ran out, you know. And so, and I know everybody was like, oh, people rich, they thinking they rich, but it was like, no, we lost our jobs, and now we have to make
laid off,
this amount of money work, and then now we still have to make it stretch. Nobody was looking at that point. And then I think a lot of people who were starting to get all that money wasn't looking at it either. They thought it was just we was going to keep getting stimulus and then all that. We
don't get this
we
again.
We got to go pay some.
We ain't got one ever since.
It was like, I seen.
We supposed to get one, what, last month?
Everybody
was supposed to get one 2 months ago.
And it's like, it probably would never happen. And
Trump said no.
Yeah.
No, Trump said
until he get elected.
You gotta vote me. You gotta vote me. Vote me in, and then you get another
before you get this check.
I mean, I don't know. The honestly, when that check came, I was so in debt. When that check came, I didn't even see it. That's how
it's gone.
Damn.
Because literally, our payroll messed up right before COVID had happened, and so then I lost my job completely. Like I woke up and I saw an email that's saying we're shut down. So it's like. It was a lot. So when those checks finally came, I was getting myself out of and then my tuition came from school. So I think my bank account was like negative $4,005 something. Yeah. So seeing that on my app every day, I was going through it. So when money started to come in, and then it was like, all right, cool, we can't just sit and be depressed about it. Like, let's go make some things happen. Yeah. Once we started having that energy, stuff just started flowing.
That's dope.
That is a strong woman right there.
Yeah.
Like, I ain't gonna sit around and hold nothing in. Let's just. I like that.
What you about to say? You say you like something.
I like that, man, because a lot of people our age, I'm gonna say the youth, like sit and dwell.
Well, we've been pacified. Like we a lot of our parents.
I feel like we have.
Yeah, and a lot of our parents didn't teach us to go out and hustle. They was like, nah, don't worry about that. Go to school and then go get a job.
You know what's crazy is, I feel like that statement relates to me so much because I don't consider myself a hustler. Because like a lot of my friends, they have to go get it.
Yeah.
And now they're getting it, and they still getting it now, and and you can see that they got it.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, like. Money, cars, homes. Like I didn't have that hustling bone in my body because my mama did such a great job. Shout outs to my mama. That I didn't have to like go out and be vicious in the streets just so I can get a new pair of shoes, new clothes. So when you say pacify,
that different hustle? What kind of hustle are you talking about?
I mean hustle like a motherfucker got let me go steal this, or let me go sell this.
Okay.
Or,
got it.
You feel me? Or let me go.
So you feel like
I'm hustling street money.
Yeah,
you feel me?
Because I'm a different type of hustle.
I was always. I want to.
You didn't want to do that.
No, I'm gonna say I was always taken care of.
Yeah.
Like my mom always made sure I had. Shit, so I didn't have to do it.
Yeah, and I would say in my situation, like I was taken care of as well, but my dad still taught me to hustle. Like my mom made money, my dad made money, but they still was like, oh no, you gotta work for this.
No, they taught me how to grind. Yeah. If you want something, put the work in for
grind,
it.
hustle.
But you mean like an actual, like, these are the steps that you need to take to get this money in?
Yeah.
And
have this job, doing this, doing that.
My dad wouldn't just give it to us. He'd be like, no, you gotta do this. You gotta clean this. No, you need to go work. Oh, damn, you need some money. Oh, you gotta go ref. Oh, no, you got to make this money. Like, he wouldn't.
Well, that was great because your dad was in a situation where he was able to employ you, right? So not all families are able to do that. So like some families, I didn't know this, but some people didn't have allowance.
Yeah.
I didn't know that other people's houses didn't have allowance like I did.
I didn't have no allowance.
Yeah, so
I had no allowance.
Oh, we had an allowance.
I was just getting it. Like,
we had an allowance.
Getting shit but lunch money.
Yeah, we had an allowance, and then in middle school I started like my selling candy, and so I remember selling candy at Linwood Middle and Hostler. So I had employees at Linwood Middle, and then we met up at that park right behind Hostler. And I was like, all right, who need more M&Ms?
I'm gonna tell you, I got in trouble one time for selling candy because, Archie had his daycare, his wife and them, so he gave us like big boxes of candy. And I'm like, I'm about to go make some money off of this candy. So they came, my dad was like, where all that candy go? Cranberry, I don't know. He was like, hey, he got to give me a whooping or something. He was like, don't do it again. Put all that candy back.
Damn.
I was like, I'm trying to hustle.
Yeah, no, my mom had faithfully, back in the day, Albertsons used to have where you can buy 6 for $1 or something like that.
Yeah.
And I sold everything for $2.
Yep.
So it's like.
I started going to Smart and Final. I started going to Smart and Final.
Yeah, we was at Albertsons because we didn't live in Linwood. We actually lived in Downey at the time.
Okay.
And so, but we was coming to Linwood because
Yeah.
I was like, I gotta go.
Yeah.
Like, I wanted to play ball for Coach Ellis. Like, that was like a dream of mine growing up. Like, I gotta play ball for Coach Ellis. And
Yep.
seeing Linwood and like the newspapers and the Saudi Gatewoods and like
Everybody.
it was like I gotta go there.
Yeah.
And then I went and like only played ninth grade year.
What?
So it was like,
Yeah. If you didn't go to Linwood, what was your other choice?
King Drew.
Okay.
So yeah, so because my mom worked at King Drew Medical Center.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
it was
so
Right
right
across
there.
the street.
Right
Right
across
there.
the street, so if anything happened, she could just walk across the
Yeah,
street.
yeah.
I had a mouth on me back in the day, so she was at the school quite regularly because
Yeah. Making sure you.
I just felt like if you go teach me, then you need, then this your job, then you teach me to the depths. So if I
Yeah.
feel like you slacking off or you doing whatever, it's
Did
like
you used to go off on teachers?
yeah, quite yeah.
He did too.
Don't do
But
that.
it was, but my thing, or I didn't like if I felt like they were teaching us something that was incorrect, or
I did that shit
or if
one
they was
time.
disrespectful,
Alright.
if they were disrespectful, and I would be like, I'm not your child,
Yeah.
you know, if you're, I get it,
You're a teacher.
you're a teacher, so you basically work for me,
Yeah.
like at the end of the day, like our tax dollars pay for you, you know, like you're at a
Oh, you was
public
one
A
of
school.
lot of
students.
parents would have told the kids that.
So
So I probably been in class like an asshole too.
yeah, well, yeah,
You're not
so,
a teacher because a lot of teachers didn't.
Well, my mom put it.
Teach right.
We were like really exposed to like people that were like the mayor of Compton and like shit. So
Yeah,
it was like
yeah.
I constantly heard these things like, oh shit, they work for us.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm definitely using that
Oh,
the
yeah.
next time a teacher
Using
says
that.
something. Like, oh, this not a private school, so my mom basically pays for your salary. Like,
Yeah.
it was like I was that type of person. I'm not that. Well, I could be, but I try not to be that person anymore.
Yeah.
But I just felt like if you go disrespect me, and we had teachers at Linwood that probably were underpaid. Now that they're looking back, that
you
were
look back at it, a
disrespectful.
lot of them was
They were
underpaid.
rude, or they would get mad and just send a student out. So it's like if you just sent a student out, where he supposed to go?
I stayed in Coach Lee's office.
Yeah, and then he wasn't even shouldn't be working with children at because
Yeah.
he should have been probably doing something different. But I feel like in that demographic, it was just people who were like uppity and
When you look back at it, a lot of inner city schools don't have
the
the proper teachers,
Yeah.
and it's the same thing as
but
like
that-
they saying about defund the police. We don't have the proper police.
They didn't even have a psychologist on
We
board.
don't. A lot of schools don't have a
And we had
psychologist.
people that were seeing murders, and
We
they was
don't have
coming to school the next week.
therapists.
It was people that was getting robbed and was coming to school with guns.
Coming to school.
I'm not gonna say his name, but I remember he
Yeah.
came to school and he was like, "Oh, that he had a burner on."
Like,
One, I
we-
didn't know what a burner was.
Yeah.
So I was like, "What's that?"
Did you just say the homie name?
I didn't say no name.
Oh, I thought you said. I thought you said.
Nah.
No, we ain't dropping no names. You know what's
Hey,
going
you
on.
thought you thought I did.
Homie name.
I had a name in my
I
head.
was gonna say we gonna have to cut that out.
Nah, cut
No,
that out
but
for sure.
one I didn't know
I'm about to
because
look
even
back at
though
that one.
when we moved to Compton, I was still sheltered on like the inner city life. I didn't know.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
so, I saw my
Because
first.
you was in Downey.
I was in Downey.
And back then,
and-
Downey wasn't how it is
So
now.
when we moved to Compton, I was just like
Well,
culture shock.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say the whole taking shit to school.
I was shocked, like, because
That was
I didn't start in Linwood. I was in Bellflower Downey as well,
Yeah.
Okay.
like in elementary.
Uh-huh.
And then I transferred to I went to a Compton elementary first, and then I think like Jessica got into a fight like the first day, and we don't even fight. So I think that's when we went to Linwood, and I was like, yeah, this is way different.
Yeah, it
Because
was.
Bellflower Downey was more. It was everybody: Asians, whites,
Yeah.
Mexicans.
And then you come to Linwood and it's Mexican, black,
That's
a
it.
drop of Asians and a group of Samoans.
That's it.
And that was it.
Boy,
And a lot of bullying.
Motherfuckers did take guns to school.
No,
A lot of bullying.
it was I mean, he's not around. Well, he's not alive anymore, but I'm not saying his name still. But
Yeah.
he showed me, because he was like, I got the burners, I keep it on me. And I was like, well, what's a burner? You know, and everybody always, even to this day, my dude be like, why you don't know certain You know, like he be
supposed to-
having
you supposed to know these
I go to
terms.
like the Urban Dictionary. He be like, please stop going to the Urban Dictionary. Like, you embarrassing me. But no, like, and he showed it to me, and I was like, dude, you have a gun at the school. Because remember, we had the metal detectors at first. I don't know if you remember.
I remember those.
They had the metal detectors because they said, well,
You was only there for 5 weeks.
I was there longer than
yeah,
5
so they
weeks,
had the
bro.
metal detectors, but they never required people to walk through them. And a lot of times they wasn't even plugged
They
up.
wasn't
That's
even
what I'm
plugged
saying.
up.
Like I don't remember a metal.
When they was
detector.
there, they wasn't even plugged.
But if you ever went in the gym, they were off to the side, and it was
Yep.
always there, and they didn't even utilize it, right? But I
They
remember
tried it for like a week.
Linwood
Yeah.
was fun. I'm gonna just say that.
Linwood was super fun. I mean, Linwood
That's
was
fine.
really, really fun, and I learned a lot. I met my boo there. We didn't like.
Oh, he went to Linwood too?
He went to Linwood too for a little bit. Cliff. I don't know if you know Cliff.
He don't know Cliff.
No, I don't know.
But yeah, he went there for a
5
little
weeks.
Oh. But I mean, who'd you hang out with?
5 weeks.
I was there like 5 weeks. I did a whole year. I did a whole year.
But did you hang out with people?
Yeah.
He did. He know a lot of the people you know.
Like,
Yeah.
But he didn't hang out with a lot of
like
sports
Snook
people.
and
He didn't hang out with a lot of sports people.
Snooki?
Big Snook?
Fucking crybaby. Yeah, I know Snooki.
First of all, that's the homie. Who else? Cam,
What
Mizell.
Cam? Little Killer Cam?
Yeah, Mizell.
Yeah, Mizell, the little
Yeah, I know all
actor.
them.
Yeah,
Come
so
on.
I was right next
But
to
I
him.
didn't fuck with them like that.
Really?
'Cause
So was you hanging out with Doc?
My squad,
We play football.
we was teammates. We was football teammates.
Oh, so you knew like Leland and all of them.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I wouldn't hang with them
But
either.
he wasn't hanging with us because he was doing his separate thing outside of football.
I was
But
hanging.
I don't understand.
I was
you
hanging
said
with.
that you had all your needs met. Why was you not doing the stuff that you should be doing?
He had a show about that.
First
But
of all,
it's
Okay.
a lot. It's a lot.
I still did my classwork and shit.
Yeah, he went to class.
I
He
still
went to class.
have my GPA when I finished that year. 'Cause it was a year. I still was like a 3 point something.
Like he said, he had a lot of stuff on his mind. And he
yeah,
would take
but
that frustration
I hung
out.
with Deshaun Sales. Okay.
07. If you see him, you'll know him.
Okay.
Maurice. We called him Mo. I hung with Bam, Willie.
He hung with a bunch of 07s.
I hung with a bunch of gangbangers.
Yeah.
Basically.
You don't know Willie? Nah.
I
I
guess
don't
I
think
have to
Lily
see-
would know him. Yeah.
You gotta see him.
Nah.
You know Tiffany Carter, the cheerleader?
Yes.
See.
Her dude. That's my cousin.
Okay.
You know Darielle?
Mhm.
Me and her used to talk.
Okay.
You
She
know.
cheered.
Yeah, I hung with.
So you knew like Tanea and everybody.
Yeah, rest in peace.
Yeah,
man.
that's my boo.
That was my dog. But let's get into this woman empowerment thing.
Okay. I actually have some shirts for y'all. So y'all both get some shirts.
He need a small.
Whatever.
Yeah, little.
Yeah, I got y'all some shirts.
What the shirt say?
It's
Oh,
the
light skin,
same-
dark skin,
yeah.
same as okay.
Same, but wow, this color
Black.
just came out. Well, it'll be on the website next week. But
It's dope.
yeah, I got
Definitely
y'all some
finna. You
stuff.
gotta open it now.
Yeah, I gotta show it.
What? I didn't press it.
It's okay. It's nice.
I don't even know how to open mine. Well, yeah, you open yours. I'm. No, it's cool.
We
I
ain't
want
just
mine.
light. We ain't just
I
dark.
want-
We all.
We all
Black.
And
black.
once we realize that, I think we'll be solid. I think that
Yeah.
well, that'll help us as a
And I
as a
think
people.
most of us do, but it's still a majority.
It's
of us
a
that-
lot of
that-
maturity
that-
that we need to
A lot
learn.
of people
I
that's no
think that once
maturity.
this, like the 80, 90-year-olds, once that mentality of the 80 and 90-year-olds of like being light skinned and being dark skinned,
Yeah,
like
go
once
out.
that phase out, because
Yeah.
I feel like the world is changing, and black people we're changing. I'm seeing a lot of more entrepreneurship and a lot
Yeah.
of self-love. That's cool too. But I also need to see more of like actual movement, like because we'll quote.
We do a
Malcolm
lot of
X.
talking.
We do a lot of talking. We're really into
No movement.
What's good, right? So we're right. We can sit down and talk about movement, but nobody's really getting up and making a
It's like,
movement.
what are you doing out
We're
there?
not consistent. And so,
What's up with I want to hear about the woman empowerment thing, because I really feel like I need to hear that because I got some ideas myself about women empowerment.
I think that I used to be a part of the Nation of Islam, and one of the things that we were taught was that no nation can rise higher than its woman. So that's really when I really took on the mindset, like, okay, so
True.
we really, really got some work to do as women, and then I looked at us as black women and where we were, and where a lot of us still are, mentally, then I looked at our men and I'm like, no wonder our men are so low. No wonder our men are so unloved and so not understood, because we don't understand ourselves. A lot of us don't understand ourselves until our age. Like, I didn't really fall in love with myself maybe about 8 years ago when I was just like, oh, I'm the shit. I mean, can I say that on here? But
Yeah.
I'm the ish.
I say fuck, damn,
Okay.
hoe, shit.
Well, yes, I really, and
Drink
then
it.
now can't nobody tell me nothing now. Like before, I was so ashamed of my black skin, I wouldn't come out during the summer. And
Insecure.
I played basketball at nighttime because I didn't want to get an extra tan,
Shit.
So now
Show that shit.
I love myself, and anytime I see especially a little dark skinned girl, I always be like, you are so beautiful, you
Yeah.
know? I never
That's
throw
dope.
in for a dark skin girl. I just say you're so beautiful, and I just can see that person light up, And so I just feel like it's my job and my duty, and I personally feel that way because I feel like something was put in me to make other women feel better about themselves. To be like, if you're in a domestic violence situation, which I was before when I was married the first time, it was violence, physically, emotionally, spiritually. But I felt like, is there better, for me, or is this it, And if I was me now, I would have been like, man, square up with this nigga real quick, which I ended up doing. And it was like, oh, shoot, she came with it. It was like I had to square up and really, like, we were literally fighting. And I'm like, this is not for me. Like, I deserve better.
Right.
Yeah.
So my whole mission
Shouldn't be doing this.
is to make a woman feel better about herself.
Mm-hmm.
So what steps do you take towards that? Like do you? Is there something that like you just speak to black women, or is there a class that you teach? Or
well, before I used to teach a class for young girls. It was just kind of like a princess type of class, but it was just explaining who you are, knowing your body, learning about hygiene, because a lot of girls do not understand hygiene. There's a lot of stuff that we need to learn, and that's not. I mean, you have to, certain things. So I do want to start that back up, even if it's like virtual, where we can just get a bunch of little girls together and just really, self-love, because our, even though it's cliche that our children are our future, they are.
That's something I will put my daughter in.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I would love to, and that's what I'm gonna. I'm not saying I won't do it because I have a daughter, and I have two. I got a bonus daughter, and I can see that they're gonna need that in life.
Yeah, and my daughter is interracial.
Yeah, and so she's for sure going to need it because she needs to understand that she needs to love her black side and her and she says she's Mexican and her Mexican side. And
well, not only that, like, cause I'm Panamanian and black.
Okay, so you
her
got
mom is Mexican and black.
Okay,
so it's like, but she looks Mexican.
Yeah, so and because she looks Mexican, you have to really push heavy at her blackness because then you don't want her to be like, well, this is what I look like and this is what I'm gonna sit with. And the girl that I did the light skin, dark skin, or death to colorism poem, she talks about that her issues with, her mother's white and her dad is black, but she looks white with black hair,
Yeah.
and so it's like. And then to know her struggles and the stuff she's experienced because of that and how people didn't want her to identify with her blackness. Or her white family didn't want her to identify.
They feel like they're in the middle.
They're in the middle and they're stuck. They don't know what to identify. So you have to take on that task.
Who we talking? We remember we did an interview with King YOB. Remember he was like
and he was Mexican and black
Mexican
as well.
and black, but the Mexicans didn't deal with me because I had the black in me.
Yep.
So
and that's a sickness that we have. Like you and your girl can stop that sickness moving forward because she can teach her Mexican family to love us, and you can teach your black family to love Mexicans.
But he said. Like his family, his Mexican side of the family, loved him. And then his black side of the family loved him. That's when he went to school.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. So we teaching our kids.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, he's saying the kids.
And the neighbors is teaching their kids, right? And it's not like, oh, no, these the Mexicans that's taking over. But it's like, oh, that's Jose and them. Hey, what's up? Y'all coming over for dinner?
Yep.
Our kids go play together? Then that's when we change the idea.
Narrative,
And the narrative. So when they come to high school, it won't be like, oh, yeah, that's the nigga that live next door to me. It's going to be like, that's the homie.
I got a lot of Mexican friends, and like on my dad's side, like I said, he Panamanian. I got cousins named Jose, Jesus, Hector, and all. But it's growing up. It's hard to like. I don't even know how to explain it. Like, I just felt like I felt some type of way because Hispanics, when they see me, they're like, oh, that's just a nigga.
Yeah. Like,
not knowing
that you
like my roots,
your
like
blood.
yeah, like
and it's like then you always
half of your blood
constantly,
is Panamanian.
and then that point, if Mexicans really went home and wasn't just living in Linwood, but actually went home and saw those colossal heads and know like, oh, he looked like you.
Yeah.
Or the different people that are in that area have the same texture of hair and they move the same. If you look at the way they dance, the women danced and they dance the same. Food tastes damn near like our food. It's just with a little more lemon and cilantro. But it's the same
It's
food.
the truth.
It's the same stuff.
I feel like schools or somebody should be.
No, I
teaching
think our
this stuff.
schools. This is my thing with schools. Our schools feed off that shit. I feel.
Yeah.
This is my personal opinion. I feel like our schools feed off that type of shit.
Off of what type of? What do you
Keeping
mean?
shit separate.
Separate.
Yeah, because if you really had that mindset of unity back in the day, and none of that shit would happen at Linwood, and we was actually building, we would have it would have been a different type of outcome.
It wasn't unity. It wasn't unity with me. I was gangbanging.
Well, I'm just saying. I'm saying if you had a different
I
mindset.
hated everybody.
Well, I wish I would have known you. I would have given you so many hugs.
Oh, you'd have hugged me?
I hugged all the gangbangers. Like, they were like, come on, Lily, stop doing that. I was like, come here.
It wasn't a
I was
word.
the one that, like, hit the cheeks. Like, come
Yeah.
here. What you want to gangbang for? Like, that was me.
Oh, no, I definitely could have been
Get off me.
Yeah. I would, like, walk
You're
up
making me
and be
feel
like,
all soft as shit.
man, I was like, let me rub your heart. Like, that was me. Because I would, like, see, like, movies like, you know, Boys in the Hood before we moved to Compton. I'm like, oh, my gosh, why are we moving there? Like, you know, like, I was so nervous. And then when I finally seen, like, a murder happen in front of me, and, like, I was just messed up. And it was a person who literally had just left my house.
Yeah.
A lot of people will not agree with me with this. I don't care. A lot of black people have post-traumatic stress
Oh, for sure.
because of what we have seen.
Yeah, they can't disagree. They're
no,
wrong.
for sure. But the
Like-
thing is that mental health, we're just now being okay with people saying I'm going to therapy.
Yeah.
Before it was like, oh, you need
Back
to do
then
is
when
go
we was
pray.
younger,
I ain't going to therapy.
therapy, they was like,
And it's probably because
even
you-
like right now. Yeah,
I ain't going to
'cause
therapy. Still.
he want the bottoms to therapy.
Yeah, I rather my therapy is.
And
You know
that-
what?
And that's fine.
No,
but
yeah.
then when that buzz come down, that problem's still gonna.
I
be
don't have a buzz yet, but see, this was my thing. My therapy, like, and people would be like, "What the fuck?" I sit back and listen to Tupac.
Oh, for sure. Yes. For sure.
He related to everything, and it was
yes.
crazy, and because that shit was Tupac was close to the family. See, it's a long history.
Okay,
Lost.
I think I'm gonna have to come back. But go ahead.
So like, it's just like so much that he was giving. I'm like, man, I ain't going to talk to no goddamn therapist.
And it's probably because you probably haven't seen a therapist that look like you.
No.
Or one that's probably from the hood that
I
dress
just-
like you, talk like
See,
you.
Like,
That's
what
you
made
probably
you
need.
not want to talk to a therapist?
My thing is,
Like, it's something that's telling you not
have
to.
no problem going to go talk to your homeboy about an issue, right?
I don't trust nobody.
But okay, but I'm pretty sure. So say every relationship has issues. So when you have like an issue with your girl, who you gonna talk to about it?
Your homies?
Nah, you can't tell all your homies your
But you-
issues
you
because
probably-
that
Not
nigga's a
every
double
You probably
bluff.
issue,
got
but I'm
one
just saying
person
some of
that
your
you
issues.
can trust to have like those intimate conversations.
And you know what's crazy? Like a lot of people, because I'm a mama's boy. I talk to my mama about
exactly,
this.
and that's a form of therapy.
Yeah.
Yeah, she ain't.
But
That's
it don't
You
fine.
don't
matter.
have to be
The-
certified.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not finna go pay somebody so they can listen to
Well,
my
I mean,
problems
if you
and
have
get
insurance,
and
it's
then
free.
and then they get okay. Well, I'm not gonna use my insurance. Basically,
So,
what I'm
look,
saying,
I would
go
say to you is try it out.
Yeah.
I'm cool.
You're not open minded.
But you
See?
can't
I'm
say
open-minded.
no. You
So why would you say no?
But you can't say that we have post traumatic stress.
Yeah.
But then
I
don't
said a lot of us.
Okay, and so if you've experienced half of the things I've experienced, which is just a little bit,
That's post traumatic
then
stress.
you have it.
Yeah, you have it. I have it. You have it. She has it.
Yeah, and I for me, it wasn't the last time that I seen it happen because I seen it happen 2 other times after that. But that very first time, and it was somebody that I knew that literally had just left my house.
Yeah.
Because I played basketball, so I had the basketball hoop, and they was playing. He literally walked down and he hit the left, and I seen him, and I seen the whole incident, and I was just
That's real post
messed
traumatic
up
stress.
for
Yeah.
like I didn't even want to leave my house, and then that's when Coach Ellis had those 5 a.m. 6 a.m. practices, and it's like, it's still dark,
Yeah.
and I was so afraid to leave my house.
Yeah.
And I'm like, can you call Coach Ellis because I'm so scared, you know what I mean? And I literally would have him and I think another dad come out of the gym,
Yeah.
and they had to walk me in. I was so afraid that something was going to happen.
Yeah.
See, my thing with like you were saying, like our black women they were lost, and that's our black men, we were acting a certain way. I agree with that. Well, I can, but I can't because like I came from a great background like my mom, and she.
No, I'm not even saying that, but I'm just saying, but she's going to love you a different way than the person that you're going to be with that's going to help you flourish is going to love you. And we
Right.
don't know how to help our men.
But as there you go.
So,
I ain't got nothing else to say.
And that's true. And I
I
had
ain't
to
got
learn
nothing else to
that. I
say.
had to learn that. And now I'm still learning, or I'm thinking like, oh, I shouldn't have said it that way.
I will say it go both ways as well, though, too.
That's very true. But but we can change the energy,
Yeah.
right? So if you having a hard ass day, right, and then you come home and I'm irritated, and you walk in, And then it's like, that's going to make you feel even worse. But say if you
That's
had
the
a
truth.
hard-ass day and I feel like I want to love you today. You know, you come in like, hey, babe, how are you? How can I, like, sometimes I'll take my dude's shoes off for him. And it's not even because I just feel like I'm a slave
Damn.
or whatever. But sometimes I can see that you got beat up so bad in the world today. Let me just take a task away from you.
Yeah.
A lot of
I had to learn that, though. My mom didn't teach me that. My grandma didn't teach me that.
You learned that on your own?
I learned that on my own because I realized how much a black man goes through.
a lot of
Yeah.
women see that as a weakness.
And that's fine. But
See
I'm
what
gonna
as
be,
a weakness?
Taking
the
their man's
shoes
shoes off. Just something simple as that.
Yeah, they can't be.
But at
Something
the-
simple as that. They'd be like,
little simple stuff.
You can take your own goddamn shoes
And
off.
then that's the problem.
Had a
Because
meal
but
cooked.
that's probably a person with the mentality that I don't need a man. Because then you're not thinking, because I'm not looking at it as, oh, I'm beneath him. I'm looking
Yeah.
at, this is my best friend. This is who I've had a child with. This is who I've struggled with. This is who I'm going to get rich with. He's having a bad day. So if I can gauge whatever bad day I had and kind of push it, because sometimes I'll have gone through something and he wouldn't even
Or
have
you'll
known.
both have bad
Yeah,
days.
we'll both have a bad day, or he'll be going through, whatever, like before he was going through this whole custody situation. It was like, that was draining.
Yeah.
But I was going through a whole lot. Then it's like, I can't bring home what I'm going through on you because I already know you're going through so much.
Sometimes you got to put your
And
burden
I
to the
had to learn
side to
that. My
help
last
them
marriage
out.
that I was in, even before the abuse, I'm not gonna say the abuse was my fault, but I didn't know how to talk to a black man back in the day. So if I came home and he was laying down, I'm like, what the fuck? What you was doing all day?
Damn.
You want me to cook?
Oh, yeah,
I ain't
see,
cooking
that
you.
kind of shit is like,
but
bruh.
that was me back in the day.
Yeah.
Now, if I see my dude and say if he was at home or maybe he was tired that day, I'm not gonna be mad at him because he got to rest that day and I did it.
How old are you?
I'm 32.
So, you ain't supposed to ask a woman her age, but,
No, I don't care.
but does that come with maturity and time?
Well, this is something I'm gonna teach my daughter.
Okay.
So, and she's seeing it. My bonus daughter is seeing it. They're seeing how I treat my man. I'm okay with them seeing me take his shoes off.
Yeah.
I'm okay with them seeing me feed him and
Running
take his
bath
plate.
water and-
Yeah.
I don't run his bath water.
Yeah.
Why?
But I was gonna say,
Take your
I
shoes
mean,
off.
I don't know. I've just never.
she just said she never
Let me
I
did
just
it.
never-
Never
I-
Cut
thought
the shower
of it.
on for you,
He
baby.
don't even really take baths like that. He takes
Yeah.
showers.
Yeah.
And if he
He
do
turn
take
the
a
shower on
bath,
for
he
you.
go in there. He got his that's like his time. So. I don't know. I wouldn't do that because I think that's just I don't know what temperature he like and all that. Like I like
Yeah.
hot.
Hey, I'm trying to tell you, a man when he come home from work,
Had that
that
shower ready.
shower,
Or bath, whichever one.
man.
Well, you know what?
Because
I'll
my girl
try
be
it.
like, "Why you in there?" I'll be like, "Man, I'm just relaxing."
And when he does that, I try to make sure that he does not get any interference. Like if his, the children are, because we have joint custody. So if it's our time to have them, I'm like, your dad's in the bath. He's in there for a long time. Let him have his moment.
Let him have his
Because I'll hear his
10
movie
minutes.
and all that. And then sometimes like if he'll say certain stuff like, oh, you changed the energy.
I just want to sit on the
Yeah.
toilet for 10 minutes.
Yeah. Or I'll be hearing he be on his phone. He be on his phone, on Instagram doing whatever. And I have to
Yeah.
realize like he just like me.
Yeah.
I don't get any time to myself. I don't even get to shit by myself.
Yeah.
My daughter is like at the door now.
Following you.
Yeah, and she's like there. She wants to sit. She want to be on the booth. Sometimes
Yeah.
I breastfeed her while I'm on, whatever. Or if I'm in the shower and she pulls the curtain. So I don't have that freedom of just being like stay with your dad. Which sometimes he'll try to help.
Yeah.
But if she whining for me, then he'll let her go. But I
Yeah.
always try to think like. He deflects so many different stressors that I don't get to even experience.
Yeah.
So if there's anything wrong, he's going to figure out a way to fix it, whether it's my car or my cell phone, whatever. If it's anything I'm an issue with, I know he's out there figuring out a way for me to not stress.
I'm learning something right now.
So,
Because
And that's when you said, like, you have to get taught or you got to learn it. I'm
And
like,
something
if you're not getting taught, it's like it comes with age then.
and if you have damage,
Yeah.
some women have experienced their father abandoning them, which in hindsight, I had that, and
Yeah.
I was looking for a father figure in my relationship. And when I realized I can't put my void on him, that's why I do counseling. Before I did it twice a week. I didn't go in and talk to my counselor. We talk on the phone. So he calls me every week, and that's my counselor. It's like I'm talking to the homie.
Yeah.
And we going through. So you might need a situation like that. If you feel like you have
call
stuff.
him.
Yeah. So I felt like I had to get therapy on all of my traumatic incidents before I can really deal with him. And now it's kind of late because we've already caused a little damage with each other with our past problems. And so now we're trying to heal ourselves and still heal that because we know we love each other so much. We don't want it to mess up over. I don't want to
Interfere.
cut him on my broken pieces.
Yeah.
See,
dope.
that I learned something, and I'm glad. I think God gave me this platform for a reason. I just learned something. I can be a little bit distant and not like how you just said, like he figure out everything.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I get lazy, like and I'm gonna speak for a lot of black men. So a lot of black men, we get lazy, and it's like, okay, we need to be treated like this. We need to get treated like this. This. It's like, damn, like you just said, if we put this in our you put that energy in our black women, we get the same result. Not just our black women, a woman period.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you put that
You get
energy
that
in.
same energy back.
Yeah.
And I like that.
Yeah, and so that's
like
something that we got to work on. And I think that if you're in a relationship and you want that relationship to work, you should automatically get counseling. Automatically.
Oh, see,
and no, hold on, wait a minute, and not necessarily counseling where you're going to go meet with a person that's
free?
You can meet with a couple that's happy. You can meet with an elder. You know,
See, but what
liaison.
makes them work ain't why not what make us work though.
But
like you said, you'll learn
But
something
you'll learn
from
something,
it.
or also you'll be able to hear her differently. Because if she been nagging about you doing something, the way y'all work is we can nag and it go through this ear and out the other, and it's like, you didn't hear me say this yesterday, and it's because no, he didn't hear me because I probably said it the wrong way. But if I be like,
I'm deaf.
hey babe, can you do this? And then if you have a chance, can you do X, Y, and Z?
Lily been to counseling.
Yeah, because I swear, look, we have a conversation.
I studied you guys.
And I be
That's
like,
why.
I be
I'm
like,
still studying
you
guys.
didn't tell me that.
And
She
a
like,
lot of
yes,
women
I
know,
did.
but
Like,
they still do the same thing.
Or it's just that sometimes we don't care because we're not sensitive to what you guys go through.
Because you'll bring it up and be like, I ain't hear you. Cause
I didn't
the
hear
way
you say that.
Because you're in our mind, you a man, you tough, you're not supposed to show no sensitivity, right? That's how we feel. You ain't supposed to cry, you're not supposed to do that. But
Yeah.
then we
I ain't crying.
But then we want y'all to love on us and be sensitive, but it's like, well, how do you want us to decipher? And it's okay for a man to cry. Y'all go through things.
I'm not crying.
Okay, well, you need therapy.
I was talking
I
to
don't need
PJ about that
You
the
do.
other day.
No, I
Because
don't.
if you're telling me you don't cry,
My girl seen me cry 2 times.
So you cry.
so you cry.
No,
You just
but
said you
no, not in front of her.
You just said you did.
She said she's seen
Okay, but we've been together damn near forever.
You can't say you did or you didn't. Which one?
Okay.
I'm not saying
Since
I
we've been together,
You cried.
since she seen me cry when my grandma died.
Okay.
So you cried.
No, she heard me cry
Okay.
Same
over the phone.
Okay.
Come
Same
on,
thing.
my grandma just died.
Same thing.
And she seen me cry because I was missing my dad.
Okay.
Same thing.
So she seen me cry once and heard me cry.
Yeah.
You know what she tell me?
What?
You have a problem.
You do.
I don't think I have a problem.
She said you have a problem because you don't cry?
Nobody sees me cry, dude.
Okay, so
Well, she said you got a problem because of what?
Because I don't cry in front of her.
okay, well
Oh.
I'm not saying
That's
okay,
not
well that's
really a
different. That's not a
problem.
problem because some dudes, well, like
That's
my
not a
dude say,
problem.
if he go through something, he don't usually will not always cry in front of you.
Yeah.
He'll go cry in the shower.
I mean, we
And
are
he'll
taught
say that.
not to cry
But
in
he-
front of people
But he's
to
a
show
super
weakness.
tough dude. Like if you've
Yeah.
seen him, he's tall. He's like a tough dude. But
Yeah.
you guys go through things, and that's what I told
Yeah.
him. Like if you go through something and you cry in front of me, I'm not
That's-
gonna think you're weak.
That's another
To me,
cycle
that's
we
a
gotta
strength.
break.
I know. I feel like you gonna use it against me.
I mean, I'm never gonna use that.
I didn't say you, but
I
I'm
know,
just
but
saying
I'm just
like
saying-
women use that against men.
But
like
that's
that-
not a woman.
Fucking cry
That
baby.
means
That's a
you
girl.
with the
That's a
wrong woman then.
That's not a woman. That is a girl.
And we gotta break that
Because if
cycle.
I'm upset and I say I love you and I'm upset and I bring up something I think is your weakness, then I have not matured. I
Yeah.
should bring up that whether in an argument or not. Like, hey, I think you need to toughen up a little
I
bit.
just seen my girl just sitting right here because she say the same exact shit.
Yeah.
But
Like I'm not gonna bring it up. Like
yeah.
it's okay for you to cry. I'm like, no, I'm cool.
And
Yeah.
then that's probably hurting her because she probably feels like that you haven't completely let her in. Because now you're creating a restriction.
No, she's all the way in.
No, I'm not saying she's not all the way in. I'm saying she probably thinks that you're not all the way in emotionally because you're creating barriers for her to not be able to fully take on you.
Yeah.
Because you're like
To feel where you coming from.
So it's like
'Cause
you
they'll
hold it-
cry.
They'll
They
cry.
don't care.
I
Oh,
will-
like a
Like a
motherfucker.
motherfucker.
So
I'm like, what you crying
And they
for?
tell
I
you-
don't know.
They'll tell you
and we have
everything.
especially after a baby or whatever. Like we had so many arguments when I was pregnant, and we had so many arguments after I was pregnant, and then we recently lost a baby in July.
Sorry
That
to
was
hear that.
thank you.
Yeah.
That was a lot. Like we literally argued, like, and it was because I was just I can't even explain it. now.
Hormones.
So hormones
All
literally,
over the
it
place.
Was, it was literally. Have you seen that game and like that ball is going ding ding? That's literally how my emotions was. It was like I'm so sad and I hate you, but can you help me? Like it was
Yeah.
like.
And that's what throw us off. And then we got to realize that women have hormones that they'll be mad and then happy and then this, and you be like,
well, how the hell you mad in 3 minutes and then you want me to hold you?
Because of the hormones.
They hormones.
But as men,
we not taught
women,
that.
But as men, women have to also understand
we don't really know.
We don't move like that.
But also, look, you two are gonna have to explain to the men that come after you what happens when a woman goes through postpartum depression, or what happens when we're on our cycle.
Like these things.
People would just be thinking we bleeding, but it's like I got a headache, I'm hot, then I'm cold, I'm hungry, then I'm not hungry.
You already know when they on their period, they going off.
Like I need to shower it's so much going. I can't sleep, and then I gotta sleep. It's like it's literally a whole transition, and I have to go through that every month. On top of being a mom to 3, and if my dude need me to go sign papers and go do that, we don't get off.
Y'all can take more pain than us.
Yeah, and we literally my birth was 47 hours.
Yeah,
God,
take more pain.
And that was active labor, 47 hours.
Like I don't want to do that thing where the man gotta do. Nah.
And he literally was just like.
You want to try that?
Supportive, but it was like you guys didn't go through that, and then our bodies change. Literally our body had to go through all this stuff.
So how you?
They go through a lot.
They go through a lot. You want a motherfucker to love you through all that?
Yes.
I'm figuring out how to love you. I love you right here, but now you just changed him so I can love you all over again.
Yeah, we do.
Gotta do it.
Because it's not like it's something we can change. If I can turn off
I didn't
my
sign up
hormones,
for this.
I didn't sign up. You got 13 different personalities in 2 months.
Yeah. No, Clifford says that all the time.
What do you say?
He'll say
Help me.
He'll be like, who are you today? Is it when I was pregnant, I remember he used to just stick his thumb in the door like, is it a good day or a bad? Like, and he wouldn't even come in there if I was like, and he just go to the
That's
front.
a good thing. You gotta start doing that. What's today gonna be? Who you got?
But then you have to be sensitive about it too, because
See, you want me to be sensitive.
No,
you want me to be tough. Now you gotta be sensitive.
No, because sometimes I think that as men, you guys are so used to being men that it's really hard for you to just tap into being a little sensitive. It is. Sometimes I'll be like, you're so mean, you're insensitive, and he'd be like, what are you now?
We all get that. We all got that.
And it's just we have to learn, you guys.
Even sometimes when we try to be sensitive, we still that wasn't sensitive enough.
It been times when she going to sleep. Good night. Good night. Love you. Love you. Like, damn, you didn't. I said it.
And that was me when I was coming here. Like I was walking out and I was like, all right, bye, babe. And
you mumbled it.
He was so because he's about to start his trucking company, so he's so into like, the logistics of everything. And I'm just like, can I have a little bit of time? Like even yesterday, it was just like, all right, give me a minute. And in my mind, like, I wanted to go off, like, give you a minute. Nigga, I gave you 47 hours of labor. But then I have to think, like, he has a lot going on just like me. But if I'm like tonight, he could have maybe wanted to do something. But he had to understand, like, okay, cool. Like, this is your time. This is your thing. This is what you love to do. Yeah. He's so supportive of my passion. But I'm so stingy with him that I got to learn to be supportive of his. Yeah. And that's something I need, because I'm just, like I said, I'm super in love with him. I want all his time, all his energy. So it's like, if it's not with your kids, I don't care what other family member needs you, I want you. So they just got to stop.
It's a big transition when you get into a relationship.
Yeah,
because you all about yourself when you're not, and then now you got to.
And I have to be okay with letting him have his moment and being okay with, like,
you gotta be okay.
And trusting. Like, all right, if you going out with the bros for the weekend, you're not about to come, go do something wrong. Like, I'm not going to do nothing wrong. So I got to put you in the same... And that takes time, too. In the beginning of our relationship, I did not trust him. He'll tell you, she used to pull up. Like, I used to, like...
Can I give a shout-out?
Yes.
Jalissa.
Aww.
Baby, I love you.
Well, you said that too low.
I know I might be insensitive sometimes.
Oh, and that takes...
But I love you.
See? And... Imagine what 1 or 2 couples therapy sessions would do if you... Stop! If it was you and her.
Let her finish.
Right? Okay, not even you and her, like next to each other. Or next to each other. And you've had another person be able to give you her perspective or give her your perspective. Because sometimes he could tell me something 30 times.
We don't listen.
And I don't hear it. And I'm like, no. Or I can do the exact opposite or vice versa. And he's like, I don't hear you. But we went to a counseling session when I was pregnant. And he had said that I'm not his piece anymore. That before, when he would go through stuff, he would come to me to seek refuge.
How did that make you feel?
Oh, I broke down. And I was pregnant too. But what he was explaining was that we have so many issues now. Before, when we was just rocking, we didn't have that liability of making sure each other was straight. You know what I mean? It was like, cool, I'm about to go. And I had an apartment. You remember my apartment in Hollywood? So that was like, when he didn't have his kids, he was pushing to Hollywood. And that was the spot. And then when we started to be in a relationship, or when feelings were caught, because before, when we first started rocking, it was like, all right, we just go do stuff, and we go on fake dates is what we called it. And because he had just got out of a really bad relationship, and I had just got out of my domestic situation, so neither one of us was ready. But then I woke up one day and I had a toothbrush in his bathroom, and I had a drawer and a key to his house, and vice versa. And his homeboy was like, "Oh, you got a girl?" Yeah. He was like, "No, that's the homie." And it's like, "No, that's your girl. She's always here. She's cooking. She's cleaning." And we like kind of.
They always say that.
We fell into a
relationship. Dudes, when they got a girl. We got one of those right now.
One of those, right? I'll be like, nigga,
that was an issue for a long time. So then when I was ready for a relationship, because of course that's what happens usually with women. He still wasn't. He still was trying to figure out if that he was going to go back to the mother of his children. And so I was an advocate of that because I didn't want him to think what we had maybe clouded. That
don't cloud his judgment.
You already had 2 kids, and maybe that's what was going to work for you. But then when I realized how toxic they were, then when they engaged with each other, it was like, it's not it.
That's not it.
I was already in love with him, but I was willing to let him go figure that out, and then we figure us out. And I was still legally married, I had to go get divorced and all that stuff.
So you still going through your own stuff.
Yeah, so by the time we decided that we was going to be in a relationship, we had already burned each other a little bit. Yeah. So the counseling was needed. So then when he said, "You're not my piece anymore, I'm still in love with you and I want that back," it was like, you were always upset, or you're always this, and before I was just like, "Come, I want to see you," woo. And I was just like, "Okay, you're here, whatever." You know what I mean? Like I had to go through that phase. And now, like, if I hear that man's car hit the corner, I'm like, who here? Like, I'm getting excited.
Maybe I'll try it.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying.
I'm saying try stuff. And now it can't hurt you.
Virtual.
But I be telling you to try stuff, you be like, nah.
Like what?
But now you can do it virtually. So you have no excuse. You don't even got to leave your house. You don't have to sit there and you can have somebody on the screen that y'all never met that's not biased, and you can sit there and, because if that's the person that you're with, and if a baby's coming and it sounds like that's who you're going to build with, then you want to make sure that the foundation is not rocky.
Right.
Because you don't want to have the left side strong and the right side not, because it still go fall through. And that's how I feel like where we are now. Like right now, we both like this hustle, create businesses, do whatever.
Yeah.
But we still need to make sure that the relationship is solid, and I feel like therapy's important. I feel like relationships are important in the Black community, whether it's with a white person or not, because a family is a family. And if you get with somebody and you have children and it don't work out, then there's destruction. Because now you're teaching that child dysfunction. And even with my bonus children, it's really sad to see when it's time for them to leave. Now they have to switch to the next parent, to the next rule. And if that parent's not having the best time, and it's like,
it'll affect them.
And it affects them, and then they see my parents don't get along. You know what I mean? And it's just like, I always feel like, I hate to see that transaction. I don't like to be around, because it's like, I wouldn't like to be around. You can see the hatred there.
Yeah.
What's your message to Black women?
Reevaluate yourself. Figure out what's wrong with you. And figure out whatever past trauma. If you got daddy issues, if you got mama issues, if you've been sexually assaulted, anything. Figure out what your issues are. And either choose to live with those issues or choose to live past those issues. But you can't keep blaming our men. Sometimes our men be an issue, for sure. But we can't blame them for, daddy not being there. Yeah. We can't blame them for mommy not teaching us how to take care of daddy. So we have to take the accountability to learn and grow. Otherwise, we'll just be them cute girls that's on Instagram making money for nothing but being out that brand new apartment by themselves.
Yeah.
Or whatever rapper they decided to deal with.
Or they'll be in 10 of them in one apartment.
I'm going to give a round of applause. So with that being said, y'all, I'm glad I got a great voice.
Oh, thank you.
I appreciate you for coming on.
To speak for the female side of the email, I definitely feel like you're elite.
Thank you.
A lot of people say, email this is just for men, but I explained it before. Email stands for elite, motivated alphas leading every day. But I also gave a side perspective on women. It's not just for men. If you're elite, you're elite. And I classify you elite. I'm gonna put a stamp on it.
Oh yeah.
Boom. You're not.
I love it.
Yeah, you got it.
Next time I want you to have some type of therapy session with your boo.
Okay, so
I would say if you don't go to a therapist, you should hit up Lily.
Yeah, I can send y'all like some homework assignments.
Yeah.
And some
Right.
little activities that can do to strengthen.
Because even the people that's been through it already, they know a lot as well.
I'm gonna take you up on that offer.
All right.
So this has been another fire ass episode of the Email Podcast. Go ahead, Doc. Tell them where they can find you at.
_Beastie5.
That's it.
That hey, if y'all can't spell that, if y'all know how to spell that, I don't know what to tell you.
Where the people find you?
Trisha Chavez. It's TreaShachave.
That is so long.
It's not. It's Trisha Chavez.
They're gonna rewind that about 5 times
It's
just
not.
to.
If you literally type in TREAS,
It should pop up.
it's gonna pop up.
It's gonna pop
and you're
up.
gonna see my cute little profile.
As soon as you type in _BEA.
Yeah. So this is where they can find.
Maybe I'll decrease the amount of words. Let me
So they
let.
can
That's
get,
good.
they
They
can
should
get the
find you.
shirts.
Yeah, if you
from-
go on my Instagram, you can go straight to my page, which is TreaShachave.com.
I want to see a lot of people wearing these shirts. I feel
Yep.
start wearing this shirt. He better wear this shirt.
Got my shirt.
I got my shirt.
It's medium.
You know you can find me at Do 2 Times.
How you spell it?
DOO2XS. You can follow our Instagram page, the email _podcast. Like I said, we're still working on the Twitter page. I'm sorry, it's coming. We working. We just
Tweet.
busy.
Tweet.
I want to give a shout out to the Gangster Chronicles. I want to give a shout out to Jalissa Waist Beads. That's my baby beads.
Bang, bang.
She crazy. She got the crazy game
Get
for
your
the waist beads.
Get your beads popping.
Okay, I'm gonna order me some.
Yeah. Kaya got the candles
She got
popping.
beforethestorm.com.
Beforethestorm.com. Fire ass candles. Hey, she really got some good candles. I'm not
Candles
even like
good.
trying to boast with the camera now.
Yeah.
But
Let's get some right now.
I want to give a shout
All
out to
natural.
Okay.
I said.
Yeah. I want to give a shout out to my mama. Because I brought you up today.
POP.
Oh, another strong black lady besides my mama. Mama, you strong. Monty Net. She made the face mask for us, the email
That's
podcast.
nice face mask.
And then-
I gotta get mine.
My Uncle Melvin, her husband. Talk about solid. Solid. But yeah, check us out. Make sure you like and subscribe. You comment, we comment back. We ain't scared to talk to you. Please be respectful. Be respectful. All right, man. Like I said, this has been another great episode of the Email Podcast.
And we out.
We out.